Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Recently I made a video about signs that your relationship might be toxic, and a lot of people actually wanted to know why we stay in toxic relationships. So this video is dedicated to those people. If you want to know why we stay in toxic relationships, then definitely watch this video till the end. Let's start. Number 1. Low self-esteem. People with low self-esteem are more likely to accept lower levels of treatment from others, including romantic partners. If you don't think you deserve love or happiness, you might settle for a toxic relationship that makes you feel bad about yourself. You might even blame yourself for the problems in the relationship and make excuses for your partner's behavior. For example, if you are constantly being criticized by your partner, you might start to believe that you are not good enough or that you deserve it. You might start to avoid social situations where you might be criticized so that you don't feel humiliated. This can lead to social isolation and make it difficult to leave the toxic relationship. If you have low self-esteem, it can be hard to break the cycle of a toxic relationship, but it is possible. With time and effort, you can learn to love and accept yourself. When you do, you will start to see yourself as worthy of happiness and respect, and you will be able to leave the toxic relationship behind. Number 2. Fear of being alone. Fear of being alone can keep you in a toxic relationship. Even if you are miserable in your current relationship, you might still feel like you need to stay with your partner because you are afraid of being single. This is especially common in couples who have been together for a long time. You might feel like you have invested too much time and energy into the relationship to just walk away from it now. You might also be afraid of what other people will say if you break up. Will they judge you? Will they think you are a failure? These fears are understandable, but they are also irrational. No one is judging you. Everyone makes mistakes, and it's better to be alone than to be with someone who makes you unhappy. The fear of being alone can also lead to rebound relationships. A rebound relationship is when you start dating someone new right away after breaking up with someone else. You might think that you are avoiding being alone by getting into a new relationship, but you are really just delaying the inevitable. You will eventually have to face the fact that you are alone, and when you do, you might be even more hurt than if you had broken up with your partner in the first place. The best way to overcome the fear of being alone is to work on your self-esteem. When you feel good about yourself, you will be more confident in your ability to be happy on your own. You will also be less likely to rely on a partner for validation. Number 3. Denial. Denial is a common defense mechanism that people use to cope with painful emotions. It works by refusing to acknowledge the negative aspects of a situation and focusing on the positive instead. For example, if you're in a toxic relationship, you might deny that there is a problem and convince yourself that everything is fine. You might ignore the red flags and make excuses for your partner's behavior. Let's say your partner is always late when you go out together. You might tell yourself that it doesn't matter because they always make it up to you in the end. Or maybe you tell yourself that it's no big deal because they have a good excuse for why they were late. By denying the reality of your situation, you allow the toxic relationship to continue. You might think you are protecting yourself by ignoring the negative, but you are really doing yourself a disservice. Toxic relationships are harmful, and denying their toxicity only allows them to continue. You deserve to be happy and healthy in your relationship, and the only way to achieve that is by facing the reality of your situation and making a change. Number 4. Hope for change. Hope for change is another reason why people stay in toxic relationships. You might convince yourself that things will get better, even though there is no evidence to support this. You might think that your partner will suddenly change and become the person you want them to be. But toxic people rarely change. They may make empty promises, but they rarely keep them. You might be holding on to hope, but it's important to remember that you cannot force someone to change. They have to be willing to do it themselves. If you are in a toxic relationship, it is important to take care of yourself first. You cannot change your partner, but you can change how you respond to them. Instead of hoping for change, focus on accepting your partner for who they are. If they are unwilling to change, then you need to move on. You deserve to be with someone who accepts and loves you for who you are. Don't waste your time waiting for someone who may never change. Number 5. Fear of losing them. Fear of losing your partner is a powerful motivator for staying in a toxic relationship. You might think that breaking up will hurt too much, so it's better to stay in the relationship even if it is not good for you. But staying in a toxic relationship is like pouring gasoline on a fire. It only makes the situation worse. Eventually, the pain of the relationship will become too much to bear, and you will have to break up anyway. Breaking up is never easy, but it is always better to break up sooner rather than later. The longer you stay in a toxic relationship, the harder it will be to break up. You will become more dependent on your partner, and it will be harder to imagine life without them. But it is important to remember that you are not your relationship. You are a strong, capable person, and you will get through this. Reach out to your friends and family for support, and don't be afraid to seek professional help. Number 6. Low expectations. People who have low expectations of themselves and their relationships are more likely to stay in toxic relationships. You might think that you don't deserve love or happiness, so you settle for a relationship that makes you miserable. But you deserve to be treated with love and respect. Just because you have low expectations of yourself does not mean you should settle for a toxic relationship. You deserve better. It is important to have realistic expectations of both yourself and your relationships. When you have realistic expectations, you are setting yourself up for success. You will be less likely to get hurt and more likely to find happiness. Here are some tips for setting realistic expectations. Accept yourself for who you are. Don't try to be someone you're not. Focus on your strengths and accomplishments. Be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up over your mistakes. Forgive yourself and move on. Set realistic goals for your relationship. Don't expect your partner to meet unrealistic demands. Communicate openly and honestly with each other. And don't be afraid to ask for what you need. Number 7. Trauma bonding. Trauma bonding is a special kind of codependency that occurs when one person has a strong emotional attachment to another person who is harmful to them. The harmful person may be a spouse, partner, family member, friend, or coworker. Trauma bonding is most common in people who have been abused or exploited. In these cases, the abuser often uses manipulation and gaslighting to maintain control over their victim. Gaslighting is a form of psychological abuse in which the victim is deliberately misled and made to question their own sanity. Over time, the victim begins to doubt their own memories, feelings, and perceptions. They may even begin to believe that the abuser is the one who is being mistreated. This is what makes trauma bonding so dangerous. The victim begins to see the abuser as the only person who understands them and cares about them, even though the abuser is the one who is causing them harm. If you are in a trauma-bonded relationship, it is important to get help. Reach out to a trusted friend, family member, or mental health professional. If you relate to any of these points, please reach out to a trusted friend, family member, or mental health professional. It's important to remember that you are not alone and help is available. That's all for this video. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and share it with your family and friends. That would be great. Thank you. See you next time.